Chat and my viewers on YouTube, the tier lists are back. Long awaited, and I told you guys, we're gonna make this an international week or international break feature. Regular season, Premier League, we talk about current events and stuff like that. International break is when the tier lists come out. And I got a few planned for you guys these next few weeks. And today, the long-awaited one, the greatest center backs of the 21st century is now ahead of us. Now, this is the best center backs of the 21st century. Now, I removed a few names myself just because I thought that they intersected eras too much, and there were some guys that I just don't know enough about, guys. Like, I'll be very real. Costa Corta, I didn't watch Costa Corta week in, week out like that. Who else was in there? There were some names in there that, like, genuinely I couldn't give you my fair opinion on. And I'm trying to be absolutely honest with all the players on this list. Now, people are asking, what's the criteria? I think just like all my lists, right? I think you got to take everything into account. How good they were at the sport has to be big. How good were they as a center back? What did they win? How long did they do it for? Did they do it at international level? Did they do it on the European stage? Could they transcend every single era? One thing I want to say, right, is a lot of these center backs, they're different kinds of center backs. We have some guys in here who are bruisers. They're like sweepers. They're center backs that are known for their physicality and their aggression, because that was just the style 15 years ago. There's other guys who are on here who are more ball-playing center backs, more elegant, more liberos, that's how they call them, right? And they're equally as important. I won't judge one over the other. But ultimately as well, too, I think a lot of things on this list will ultimately come down to who did I like the best? And I'm sorry, guys. Ultimately, when we're ranking the best of the best, which when we get to table 1, table 2, we're talking about the best of the last 25 years, preference and who you like more is inevitably going to come into effect. But I'll try as hard as I can to stick to the criteria. I got 2020 onward, or 2000 onwards. Let's get into it. Now, first and foremost, and as you guys know, this list starts off alphabetically. First and foremost, here are the candidates with Vidic at the bottom. We got 47 names on here, chat. 47. And to start, we're starting with Barzagli. Barzagli was part of the iconic Italian trio of center backs. Himself, Bonucci, and Chiellini. These three were sensational. You know what I really like about a certain kind of defender? Like, this isn't part of the criteria, but it's just something that I personally really like. And you guys might see it when I talk about preference when it comes down to this. I love center backs who love to defend. And you guys might be thinking, well, that's all of them, right? They're all defenders. But I'm talking about the ones that love to defend, chat. Like, I'm talking about the ones that would put their body on the line to stop a goal. They'd put their head on the line to stop a goal. Guys that love you guys know the ones I'm talking about. These three, in Barzagli, Bonucci, and Chiellini, they're defenders. They love to defend. And me personally, I love that about them. Barzagli, out of the three, in my opinion, was the least good of the three. Like, he's the least best. He's great. He's a brilliant center back. But I think he was the worst of the three. That's not to say he was a scrub. He was a very, very good center back. And actually, Barzagli won the Bundesliga with Wolfsburg in 2009, which is something that not a lot of people know about him. But I do think out of the three, he was the least best of the three of them. And for that reason, I'm going to put Barzagli. I think I'm going to put him at table 4, chat. Like I say in all of these lists, before people lose their shit, please stay until the end. This list is subject to change, as always, right? Sometimes some guy might start at table 1 and I move him all the way down to the bottom. Please, just stick around till the end. This list is subject to change. Secondly is Jerome Boateng. I'm not going to speak too much on Boateng, just because, let's be real. I know it's a footballing thing, but he's a bit of a shady character. I'm not really too keen on propping up guys like that too much. But if I have to be honest here as well too, Boateng was a very, very good center back. Very, very good. World Cup winner, 2-time Champions League winner for Bayern Munich, and he was extremely crucial to both of those. And I do believe at one point there was an argument to be made that Boateng for a year arguably could have been seen as the best center back in the world. I think he was better than Barzagli. I think I ranked Boateng at a higher level than Barzagli. And one thing with Boateng as well too, and I really felt this when Pep got his hands on him at Bayern. His switches, his long passes from the right-hand side, like cross field, were exceptional, man. They were exceptional. I'm going to have Boateng in table 3. He was an extremely good ball-playing center back. I think that messy moment kind of ruins his legacy at times, right? Like, people kind of think of that as the first thing they think of when they think of Boateng. But he was a very, very good center back. Next up, we're going to go Bonucci. Now, Bonucci, out of the three of Barzagli and Chiellini, was the ball player of the three. Bonucci was incredible on the ball. And dare I say it, he's one of the best ball-playing center backs I've ever seen in my life. Genuinely, Bonucci's technical ability was superb. You talk about Boateng's long passes. Bonucci was another level in my opinion. His passing range and his technical ability and his footballing IQ were so good. So good. Like a level above most center backs I've seen. I'm talking technical ability for center back. I think of Bonucci. I think of David Luiz. I think of Sergio Ramos. Like that's the caliber of just like Hummels in terms of just ballers in terms of center backs. He's an incredible player, Bonucci. I'm going to put him as well at table 3. And I think I'm going to put him above Jerome Boateng. I am. I'm going to put him above Jerome Boateng. Bonucci was an exceptional defender. Next up, Sol Campbell. Sol Campbell, Arsenal invincible. Made the switch over from Spurs to Arsenal. Absolute monster of defender. Fast, aggressive, read the game very well. Good in the air, leader, good passer of the ball. Sol Campbell was a very good center back. However, I have him above Barzagli, but I think below Boateng. I'm going to keep him at table 3 for now, but I have him here for now. I think Sol Campbell for me goes table 3. Fabio Cannavaro. Now, Cannavaro reached an individual height that no other player on this list reached. And that's being recognized as the best player in the world. Do I think he deserved that award? No, I don't. I don't think he was the best player in the world. But let's be real, Cannavaro was exceptional that season. He was exceptional that season. And Cannavaro was just a brilliant center back, right? I do think the Ballon d'Or gives Cannavaro a bit of juice that center backs who I actually think were better than him just don't get. Like, Cannavaro was brilliant, but I don't think Cannavaro was better than some of the guys on this list just because he won the Ballon d'Or. You get what I mean? Cannavaro was an exceptional athlete, very good in the air, read the game extremely well, and his physical pomp was quite aggressive. For a short center back, very good. Like, Cannavaro was an all-timer. But I actually think I have him at table 2. I got Fabio Cannavaro here. I think he's not even the best Italian on this list. Dare I say it? I don't even think he's best 2 Italians. But he was a wonderful center back. And his World Cup campaign that he had in 2006 is arguably the best international tournament that anybody on this list ever had. That I have to give it to him. I don't think a single player on this list had a better international campaign than Fabio Cannavaro in 2006. I think so. Superb. Italy in 2006 did not concede a single goal from open play. They conceded 2 goals all tournament. One of them was a penalty, and one of them was an own goal. That, in large part, has to do with the leadership and the defensive acumen of Fabio Cannavaro. So I got him at table 2, and that's subject to change. He might even go table 1, but for now, I got him here. Jamie Carragher. Now, Jamie Carragher is a wonderful pundit. In my opinion, he's actually the best UK-based pundit that the game has to offer. I think he's a fantastic footballing mind. I've met Jamie the other night. I met him a few weeks ago. Great guy. I'm a big fan of his punditry, and he actually had a good career. Jamie Carragher gets way too much hate. People actually think Jamie Carragher was a scrub. Jamie Carragher was a good center back who had a very good career. He maximized his skill set exceptionally well. And he had big moments for Liverpool. But he's bottom of this list, chat. He's table 6. Big respect to Jamie Carragher. Top pundit, good center back, great career, table 6. Ricardo Carvalho. Ricardo Carvalho was a baller. Oh my. You know how I was just talking about ball playing center backs, chat? Everyone I just named, add Carvalho to that list. I was such a fan of Ricardo Carvalho. Together with John Terry, formed one of the best center back partnerships I ever saw in my life. Went to Real Madrid and had some very good years there. For the Portuguese national team, was a stalwart in there. Won the Champions League with Porto, which I think a lot of people forget as well too. Carvalho was incredible, man. His reading of the game was so good. He was good ball playing, like very good technically. He was more the silk next to John Terry's steel. Ricardo Carvalho, anyone's saying table 4, I'm sorry, you don't know what you're talking about here. Ricardo Carvalho was a brilliant center back. For me, he's behind Cannavaro, but I have him above Bonucci. For now, I'm going to put Carvalho. Now, I'm going to put him table 2 for now. Again, subject to change. But I think he was better than these 3. I don't think he was as good as Cannavaro. He has the chance to move down, but for now, I'm going to keep him there. Because I think he's better than Bonucci, but I don't think he was as good as Cannavaro. We move. Chiellini. Okay, now we're talking. Because Chiellini, chat, wow, we've just done basically now the big 3 of Italian Juve center backs. Now we've done the big 3. And I'm sorry, chat, this guy for me was the best of the 3. In fact, I got him above Carvalho as well too. Chiellini was the best of the 3 center backs from Juventus. All 3 of them, brilliant, but he was the best. Chiellini is one of the most underrated players of his generation. Without a doubt, one of the most underrated center backs. There's guys who won more than him, or Champions League wise, they won more than him. Because let's not lie, this guy won like 10 Serie A's in a row and won the Euros at like 37 years old. By the way, Chiellini, old man Chiellini, won the Euros of Italy and was amazing in that campaign. Chiellini, not afraid to put his head, and like again, I talk about guys who love defending. Oh, that's Giorgio Chiellini, man. Class act. I'm a big fan of Giorgio Chiellini, man. So I got him right now below Cannavaro, ahead of Carvalho. And this is a great list, chat. I can't lie. Because center backs, okay, maybe one of these guys, I'm stretching it. But these are top center backs for the most part that we're talking about, chat. These are very, very good center backs. Ivan Cordoba. Cordoba was a very, very good center back. And again, of the mold of Cannavaro in terms of short, not the most physically imposing in terms of height, but read the game very well. Very aggressive in the slide tackle, in the ground tackle. Had a very, very good leap on him. Actually led Colombia to the Copa America in 2001, chat. That's pretty impressive. That's a feat that no one has been able to replicate for Colombia since. Was great for Inter before ultimately Lucio kind of came in and took his position. But Cordoba was a very, very good center back. I think I'm going to put Cordoba. He's below Barzagli for me. I think I'm going to put him for now in table 5, chat. Next up is Dante. Okay. Dante was a good center back, but I have to be honest with you, chat. He's going table 6 in my opinion. Was great for Bayern in that treble winning season in 2012-13. Had a very good career as well too, Dante, but I think there were better center backs. He's had a very, very good career, but I think there were better center backs here. I got Dante at 6. Yeah, great longevity, great player. Even he's still kicking it in France, I believe. But I got him at table 6. Rio Ferdinand. Now, chat, I got Rio, I think right here. Yeah, I got Rio at table 2. Rio was a revolutionary center back, in my opinion, in terms of the way he played the game. He was one of the very first ball-playing, elegant center backs that didn't just rush to ground that the Premier League really got to see. And you look at the transfer records that he broke as a center back. I think he broke the world record for a center back signing on 2 separate occasions. One when he went from West Ham to Leeds, and then shortly after when he went from Leeds to Man United. He read the game incredibly well, was very, very rapid in his heyday, incredibly gifted on the ball, carrying the ball out. Just a top level center back. I don't think Rio is the best center back in Prem history, which a lot of people seem to think. Me personally, I don't even think he was the best English center back in Premier League history. And personally, from when I started watching football, which is 2006 onwards, I give big respect to what Rio did before I started watching, because I think at one point he was the best center back in England, or the best center back at the club. But me personally, from when I was watching the two of them, from 06, I would say 06, 07 he was still the best, but 07, 08, 08, 09, 10, 11, 12, 13, I thought Vidic was the best player at the club, the best center back at the club. I think Vidic was the best of the two. But I give Rio credit for his longevity, for his style, and yeah, I just think Rio was a brilliant center back, man. Personally, I always had Rio and Sol over Terry. You see, I'm actually the opposite. I'm going to get to John Terry later, but I don't have him over either of them. Guys are saying United bias. I have Rio Ferdinand at table 2. I think United bias would be me putting him at table 1, no? I think table 2 is a perfectly acceptable place to have Rio Ferdinand. Next up, chat. Diego Godin. I love him. Honestly, chat, this is one of my favorite 5 center backs on the list. No shame in saying that. This is one of my my top 5 center backs on this entire list. Diego Godin. Again, I told you what I love about center backs. Center backs that love to defend. That's Godin. Incredible. Oh, man, I love Diego Godin, man. Chat, let me tell you where I got Godin. He's table 2 for me. It's just a matter of, is he above Chiellini? Godin won Godin's career is crazy too. World Cup semifinal of Uruguay, Copa America winner of Uruguay, league title winner with Atletico Madrid, Champions League finalist 2 times of Atletico Madrid. Godin was crazy, man. The question ultimately comes down to, do I think he was better than Chiellini? Nah, he's table 2, chat. He is table 2. He absolutely is. Godin, chat, was like, the only reason Godin doesn't get the love that other center backs of his generation do is the trophies. And it's because he played for Atletico Madrid. And he still won stuff at Atletico, guys. Godin was crazy, man. Chiellini, 2 Champions League finals. Godin went to 2 Champions League finals. And Godin was playing for Atletico Madrid in a league dominated by Barca and Real at their absolute apex. That's not on Godin, bro. I'm sorry. Chiellini was brilliant. I'm not trying to take away credit from Chiellini. But Godin, first of all, has the longevity, and he was playing for Atletico Madrid, and he won with Atletico Madrid. And he wasn't the captain at one point because Gavi was the captain, but he was a crucial part to it, bro. Nah, Godin for me was better than Bonucci. I think Godin, honestly, chat, for me, is so underrated. I think Godin is so underrated. Yeah, he won the title in Messi's backyard too, by the way, and he's the one that scored the winner for it, or he scored the equalizer that got them the league. You know what? I'm putting Godin here, man. I think I am. I think I preferred Godin to Chiellini. Just by a little. I love them both. Just by a little, I'm putting Godin there. Godin, man. Cristiano Ronaldo Cristiano Ronaldo robbed a lot of these Atletico Madrid players from having all-timer careers. Don't get it twisted. Bro, these guys were on the cusp of greatness in Europe twice. And if Godin wins those 2 Champions Leagues, bro, he's no one is having this conversation with half these center backs. Godin was so good, man. He was so good, man. I got Godin right here. Yeah, Cristiano, bro. His Real Madrid teams and him. Cristiano Ronaldo was Godin. Like, he was Godin's biggest nightmare. Honestly, Ronaldo stopped so many of those guys from having, like, all-timer resumes, man. Yeah, I'm gonna put him here. I think it's tight. I think you could definitely argue Chiellini. I'm not trying to say it's a landslide. I think Chiellini is on his level. Like, I think they're similar level center backs. But this is where I said preference is gonna come into play. And my preference, like I said, I just love Godin, man. I absolutely love Diego Godin. Next up, Mats Hummels. Oh, yeah. Mats Hummels was very good. He's so good. He's better than Boateng for me. I always preferred Hummels to Boateng. And I think he's better than Bonucci too. For me, it's a question of Hummels. Is he above or below Carvalho? That's where I got him. For me, Hummels, is he better or worse than Carvalho? I'm going to go high 3. I'm going to put him here for now. I don't think it's crazy to say Hummels was better than Carvalho. I think they're similar level. I think they are. But I got Hummels right there, man. Next up, Sami Hyypiä. Hyypiä was a good center back. Very good center back. And honestly, chat, that Liverpool team, right? For as much shit as people give Gerrard's teams, right? And I'm not trying to say Gerrard was gifted with Barcelona 2011. I know he wasn't. But that Liverpool team were very good in Europe and pretty good in knockout competition. And there was a reason for it. Yes, Gerrard was dragging them in midfield. But Liverpool had a very good defensive record in Europe. And it's because Benitez was a very pragmatic manager. But that trio of Sami Hyypiä, Jamie Carragher, and Pepe Reina for a while was actually really solid, chat. They were actually a really good trio. At one point, Liverpool, Pepe Reina won the Golden Glove 3 years in a row. 05-06, 06-07, 07-08. I think so. Yeah, 05-06, 06-07, 07-08. Pepe Reina won the Golden Gloves 3 years in a row. So, yes, Gerrard wasn't blessed with the best team ever, but that team was still good. It was a good team. It wasn't good enough to win the league, but it was a good team. And I think Hyypiä was a higher level than Carragher, personally. I think Hyypiä was a higher level. So for that reason, I'm going to put Hyypiä here. I'm going to put Hyypiä there. I'm also going to put Ledley King at table 6 as well, too. Now, Ledley King, very talented center back. And when he was fit, when he could actually play, so talented. Ledley King was a brilliant center back. But Ledley King had literally like chronic knee injuries, bro. The guy couldn't even train a day before his game or 2 days before his game because his body would just give up on him. I'll never forget the 2010 World Cup where he came in as a starter because Rio was injured. And I think he lasted like 10 minutes in the opening game against the US. He could barely eat, like he wasn't fit. He couldn't play. So Ledley King was very talented. He was more talented than Carragher. That's not even a debate for me. But unfortunately, he just never got the career that he probably should have had because of the injuries. So I got Ledley King here, man. Vincent Kompany. Now, Kompany, chat, I always find is a player that these days is either too overrated or too underrated. I think at one point, Kompany was probably getting overrated, to be honest with you. Like, people were trying to act like Kompany was like levels with Vidic and Rio and those guys. I don't think he was. But also nowadays, I hear people talk about Kompany like he was some bum. Kompany was a very good center back. Oh, man. Kompany was a very good center back. Aggressive, wore his heart on his sleeve, incredible in the air, not afraid to go into tough tackles. Good ball player, to be honest with you, especially for that era. Yes, he had some calamities in his games at times, right? Yes, he went in too rough into a tackle, but you have to also understand, that was the style of center back in the Premier League those days. I think Vincent Kompany was a very good center back. I'm going to put him here for now. I think so. It's subject to change, but I'm going to put him here for now. Big moments as well, too. And let me tell you guys this about Vincent Kompany. I really like Vincent Kompany. And I don't like a lot of City players. He was that guy for me that even as a Man United fan, I couldn't help but admire. Because he's a real leader. He's a real wears his heart on his sleeve guy. Like, Vincent Kompany for me was just a class act. For me, one of the greatest captains that the Premier League has seen. And I think it's so fitting as well, too, that he was one of the first players to ever join Manchester City of that group. Didn't play that much at the beginning. In fact, he came as a defensive midfielder from Hamburg. And amongst all of the big center backs that these guys bought, at one point, Man City bought Kolo Touré to pair up with Richard Dunn and Julian Lescott as well, too. And Vincent Kompany surpassed all of them and became one of the biggest figures in Man City history. I have so much respect for Vincent Kompany, man. Koulibaly. Koulibaly was very good, but I got him here. Was very brilliant for Napoli in those days. Won the AFCON as captain of Senegal. At one point, he was considered one of the best center backs in the world. I remember when Manchester City wanted to break the bank for him. And in fact, he was priced out of a move by Napoli, and they ended up getting Ruben Diaz, which, with hindsight, is probably like, oh, they looked into that one. But Koulibaly was that highly rated. I don't think he's table 5. Yeah, I think at one point, Koulibaly was crazy, chat. I got him at table 5 for now. If he needs to move down, he moves down. Aymeric Laporte. See, I think Koulibaly was better than Laporte. I put Laporte here. Laporte, incredibly good ball player. Like ball playing exceptional. The way he could read like split lines with his passing from that left hand side. Laporte is a very, very gifted footballer, and you've seen what he's gone on to do now for the Spanish national team, winning the Euros with them. Yeah, I got a lot of respect for Laporte. In terms of ability, he's exceptional, but I don't think his career stacks up to a lot of these guys. Lucio, chat. I said Godin was my top 5 favorite center backs on this entire list. I think Lucio might be top 1 for me. Lucio, y'all don't know about Lucio like I know about Lucio, chat. This guy was insane. Insane. You talk about center backs who can carry the ball forward 30, 40, 50 yards from deep. This is the OG. This is the guy you guys are... Okay, obviously Beckenbauer and Fuad's age mates. Okay, fair enough. But of the 2000s, this is the OG, chat. Lucio was insane. And let's keep it real, by the way. Incredible career. World Cup winner with Brazil, Champions League finalist with Bayer Leverkusen, multiple-time Bundesliga with Bayern, treble winner of Inter Milan, Confederations Cup winner with Brazil, where he scored the winner in the final. Lucio had a damn good career, man. He had a damn good career. And his ability as a defender, on the ball, off the ball, incredible. Lucio is, for me, so slept on. The question is, where does he go? I'll be real. I think I got him here. I think I might just have him at their chat, table 2, just above Carvalho. Lucio was incredible. Like I said, it's subject to change. There's some big names coming up. But I was a big fan of Lucio, chat. Honestly, like, even biased aside, he was a top-class center back. And in fact, I'll tell you guys a story, right? So the reason I love that Inter Milan 2010 team so much is it's a team of underdogs. It's a team of guys that at that point in their career were all counted out. Let me tell you guys a few of them, right? Samuel Eto'o. At Barcelona, the year before, was told, you're not good enough for Pep Guardiola, you have to leave. He stayed a year, scored like 40 goals, won the treble, scored a winner in the final, and still Pep Guardiola decided, I need someone else. I go for Zlatan. You can go the other way. They gave Eto'o and cash for Zlatan Ibrahimovic. Eto'o was discarded to Inter. You look at Diego Milito. Came in fact, to be like... He actually came in before Eto'o did, while Ibra was still at the club. And he came in to be like the fold for Ibra. And Milito was a player that throughout his career was a pretty good player. He scored a lot of goals, but was kind of always overlooked, to be honest with you. Whether it was for Hernan Crespo for Argentina, whether it was for Tevez, whether it was for, I don't know, like Higuain, all those guys. He was never considered like one of the best Argentinian strikers. And he played for Genoa. He played for Zaragoza. He never got a move to a big team. Got to Inter. You look at Jose Mourinho, a guy that had been shunned by Chelsea. His first year at Inter didn't go great, and then he really wanted the Barca job. And Barca looked at him and said, you're one of the best coaches on the planet right now, but you're not Barca caliber. You're not a Barca manager. We're going to go for this novice, our academy coach, our Barca B coach, Pep Guardiola, who's never coached the first team. We're going to take him over you. And granted, it worked out wonders. But Jose was basically sneered at. He's at Inter. Wesley Sneijder was at that Real Madrid team, right? Where the year before, they got smashed by Barcelona. And Perez comes back into power. He takes back the presidency. And his first move is to get rid of all these Dutch guys. Robin, you're out. You're going to Bayern. Huntelaar, you're out. You're going to Milan. Drenta, you're out. Sneijder, we're bringing in Kaká. We no longer need your own fortunes anymore. And by the way, what's so beautiful is the Champions League final that season was played in the Santiago Bernabeu. Robin and Sneijder were both discarded from Real Madrid for Cristiano and Kaká. And guess who played the Champions League final that year in the Bernabeu? Those two did. That's beautiful. But Lucio is also part of that story because Lucio was part of Bayern Munich away the season before. Was a great servant for Bayern. But who comes in to Bayern Munich that season? Louis van Gaal. Now, Louis van Gaal is famously known to not be too keen on Brazilians. It's throughout his history as a coach, he has always favored Europeans over South Americans. Always. You can see it at every club he's gone to. Lucio was deemed by Van Gaal not to be good enough because he preferred Van Boyten. Van Boyten and Demichelis were his two center backs. He says, Lucio, you're surplus to requirements. You're free to go. Lucio goes to Chelsea, who that summer had been going after John Terry and Ricardo Carvalho all summer. Mourinho basically tried raiding Chelsea of Lampard, Terry, and Carvalho. He doesn't get any of them. So who's his plan B? We'll go for this guy, Lucio from Bayern. Lucio forms one of the best center-back partnerships of that year with Walter Samuel. He's a revelation. And guess who Lucio beats in the Champions League final that year? Bayern Munich and Louis van Gaal. Chat, that's why I absolutely love that Inter Milan team. It's a team of underdogs, of fighters, of guys who were counted out at numerous points in their careers. And man, they played football the way I love. They just love to defend. That's why I got so much love for that Inter team, and that's why I got so much love for Lucio. By the way, Lucio, I urge you guys to check out his compilation against Drogba. I'm so glad you brought that up, Black LA Bud. Drogba that season in 09-10 put together the best season of his career. He was unstoppable. Lucio had him in his pocket that year. Lucio pocketed 29 goals in 35 games. Didier Drogba pocketed him. Physically, this guy Lucio was incredible, man. So I got Lucio at table 2. That's my little soliloquy on Inter Milan and Lucio, man. Next up, David Luiz. Okay, now David Luiz is very, very difficult to kind of rank, chat. I'll be real. Because here's the thing. On the ball, sensational. Again, when I talk about ball-playing center backs, incredible. Incredible. But when we talk about clangers for a center back, I'm sorry. This guy had clangers in him, bro. This guy had clangers in him. Now, he wasn't a schmuck by any means, right? He was a very good center back. There's a reason why Chelsea broke the bank on him, PSG broke the bank on him, and then Chelsea broke the bank on him again to bring him back. And Conte really found a good use for him in his 5-back formation, where David Luiz was asked less to be an out-and-out defender and just asked to be a ball-playing wizard. And in that back 3, David Luiz was incredible. And by the way, this guy could strike a football. But I think there are better defenders on this list, chat. I have to be honest with you guys. I do think there were better defenders on this list. For that reason, I'm going to put him here. I'm going to put David Luiz behind Laporte. Great defense. Honestly, he was showtime. David Luiz, one thing you can never say about him is he was boring to watch. He put on a show for numerous reasons. But I got him at table 5. Okay, well, this is the first one. Paolo Maldini. Welcome to table 1. Does too much need to be said? The greatest defender of all time. So good at center back. So good at left back. Just an absolute legend of the game. His longevity is untouched. His trophy cabinet is untouched. His prime level is untouched. His consistency is untouched. Paolo Maldini is almost as surefire a table 1 as you can get, man. Honestly. So good. So good. I don't have to say too much on Paolo Maldini, man. That guy's an icon of the game. I got him at table 1. Rafa Marquez. Now, Marquez, I actually think, is somebody who, over time, has started to become really underrated, to be honest with you guys. I think Marquez is one of those guys, not even underrated, because underrated means people think he's worse than he was. I just think Marquez is like forgotten about, to be honest with you. I really think he's forgotten about because of what Pique kind of came in and did when he arrived at Barcelona. Pique came in, it was Pique and Puyol, Marquez became an afterthought. But let's not forget what Rafa Marquez was doing before Pique got there. For the longest, it was Marquez and Puyol. And a lot of people could argue there were times where Marquez was the best center back at the club. Ball playing, exceptional. Reading of the game, very, very good. Defensively, very, very good. What he did for that Mexican national team, by the way, too, huh? Marquez. For me, I always thought he was a very, very good center back. And I just think he's become forgotten about. I don't think he's underrated, because underrated means people think he's just not that good. I just don't think people talk about him anymore. I'm a big fan of Rafa Marquez. I got him at table 4, but where in table... I think he was better than Company, chat. I think I got Marquez right here. Very, very good center back for me. Next up is Marquinhos. I have to be honest with you guys, chat. I'm not that high on Marquinhos. I'm not. I used to be high at one point. When he first came to PSG from Roma, in his first few years at PSG next to Thiago Silva, I thought Marquinhos was really, really good. I actually thought he was underrated at one point. But I do think ever since Thiago Silva left the club and Marquinhos has asked to be the A-side center back, my opinion of Marquinhos has lessened every single year. And I genuinely think when you look at PSG's biggest kind of exits in the Champions League of the last 5-6 years or so, his fingerprints are all over them, chat. His fingerprints are all over them. Brazil, since Thiago Silva left the fold, I think Marquinhos has been a culprit in terms of their failures many times over. I have to be honest with you, at one point I was a big Marquinhos fan. I was actually even thinking, could he end up being better than Thiago Silva one day? No, not for me. For that reason, I actually have Marquinhos right here. I got him at table 5, chat. Honestly, for me, he's always at the scene of the crime. I agree. Mascherano, right? Let me say this. When you talk about players that completely exceeded my expectations, this guy is right up there. When he joined Barcelona, right, I think the opinion of him at the time was he was just going to be going as Busquets' backup, basically. He was going to go as Busquets' backup. Yaya Toure had left the club. Yaya was the backup to Busquets at the time. Mascherano was a really good defensive midfielder for Liverpool. Obviously, he was the 6th for Argentina as well, too. And when he went to Barca, I genuinely, you know how people thought of Alex Song when he went to Barca? Why is he going there? He's out of his depth, and he ended up being out of his depth. I think that's the way I thought of Mascherano, and I think it's the way a lot of people thought about Mascherano at the time. But give him credit. Mascherano carved out a career at Barca that rivals a lot of center backs of that era. He was the center back for great years at Barca. You look at 2011, it's him and Pique. You look at 2014-15, it's him and Pique. Mascherano is a very, very good center back, man. I always think of that game against Arsenal with that last-ditch tackle on Nicholas Bentner, which potentially saved Barca's Champions League run. He saved Barca that year. Let's not get it twisted. That tackle against Bentner, I think, saved his Barca career, and I think it saved Barcelona's Champions League run that year. Now, I think there's better center backs, but let me make this very clear. I think Mascherano is a very, very good player. Reading of the game, tackling, I think he's a brilliant player, man. I think he's a brilliant player. I have Mascherano. I have him ahead of Koulibaly, but I have him below Barzagli. So I'll put him right here. Materazzi. Now, this is actually Fuad's favorite player. Fuad's favorite player ever, chat, is Marco Materazzi. And I'll be real, Marco was this guy was a rock star. That's the only way I can describe him. He was a rock star of a center back. This guy had a season where I think he scored like 11 goals for Inter. He was taking free kicks. He was shooting from like 40 yards out, headers, the antics, the whole nine. He was a rock star of a center back. However, I don't think he was like the best center back ever. He obviously had that 2006 run where Nesta goes down and he steps up to be Cannavaro's partner. And look, he's part of that great Italian defense. You can't discount that. But if I'm being absolutely honest, I think Materazzi goes here. I think I got Materazzi at table 5. This is where we get controversial, chat. Or maybe it's controversial. For me, it's I wouldn't say it's controversial, but it's something I really do believe. Not only do I think Nesta is table 1. Well, you didn't think I was going to put Nesta like table 2 or... Nah. Not only do I think Nesta was table 1. Chat, I think Alessandro Nesta is the best center back of all time. Or rather, I think he's the best center back that I've ever seen in my life. I think Alessandro Nesta is the best center half I ever saw in my life. Now, Maldini... Incredible. And I have no dispute if you think it's Maldini, but keep this in mind as well too. Maldini was a left back half his career. In fact, he played more games, we found out yesterday, than he did at center back. He played more games at left back than he did at center back. But I think Nesta, if you wanted to create a center back, I think he'd be the prototype, chat. Honestly, fast, strong, tall, great on the ball, athletic. And I think in terms of reading the game, chat, I think Nesta was the best I ever saw. Nesta's ability to read the ball, to read the play as a defender, was the best I ever saw. Up until even he was like 36, 37. He read the game better than any center back I ever saw. He was classy. He was great on the ball. He was aggressive when he needed to. He could bully you if he needed to. In a foot race, if he wanted to, he could beat you. I think Nesta was the best I ever saw. So that's why I say it's controversial, because I think when people think of Maldini, they think that's the best ever. And I hear it. He's the best out-and-out defender ever. He played left back at an all-time level. He played center back at an all-time level. Can anybody claim to do the same? Probably not. But in my opinion, I have Nesta as number 1. That's just my opinion. I know some people will disagree, but I have to say Nesta was the best I saw. And let's be real, chat, right? These are the 2 top. I'm going to spoil that right now for you. No one will outdo these 2. You have to understand, right? Italians, it's in their blood. Defending is in their blood. You know, Brazilians, we talk about like skillers and we talk about number 10s and we talk about entertainers. That's for them, Brazilians. When I think of like technical, close control, ball playing midfielders, I think of Spaniards. When I think of footballing IQ and like tactical elements and like, I think of the Dutch. When I think of defending, when I think of just defensive IQ and the art of defensive ability, I think of Italians. Catenaccio. These 2 are 1 and 2 for me, man. I got Nesta at 1. I got Maldini at 2. And quite frankly, I won't be too upset with the ranking of either. Nicolas Otamendi. I sound like Mourinho right now. Otamendi, Sterling, De Bruyne, Aguero. These are all investments from the past. Look at many of the investments from Manchester United. See where they play. See where they play. See how they play. See if they play. This is football heritage. These are all investments from the past. Otamendi. That's one of the greatest speeches of all time, man. Otamendi, I got him at table 5. I'm going to put Otamendi right here, Chad. I liked Otamendi. He was aggressive. He wore his heart on the sleeve. He was very, very good in the air, by the way. But he had some clangers. He won the World Cup, by the way, and he was, for me, him and Romero were incredible at the last World Cup. Like, they were, in my opinion, you talk about Argentina, it's Messi and a great defensive unit. And when you talk about that great defensive unit, Otamendi was awful in the final. But chat, let's not rewrite history. Otamendi played a brilliant World Cup up to that point. I don't care. Otamendi, before that final, was incredible for me. Like, chat, Argentina were an amazing defensive unit and Messi. So let's not now all of a sudden discredit the defenders that got them there. Otamendi, in my opinion, before that World Cup final, was, for me, a shoo-in for the team of the tournament. And the final, look, he let Mbappe back in the game. But yeah, he had a really good final. The thing is, though, right, outside of Argentina, he was good for Man City. I wouldn't say he was elite. He was definitely the worst of the Man City defenders, in my opinion. Good at Valencia. Yeah, he was very good in the Copa America. I got him at table 5. I think I have him at table 5. Pepe, warrior, soldier, lunatic, crazy longevity, very good peak, underrated footballer, by the way. In my opinion, one of Portugal's top 3 players at Euro 2016. For me, it was him and Ronaldo, the best 2. Where do I have Pepe? I got him right here. For me, Pepe goes table 2, below Chiellini, above Lucio. I think that's fair. Pepe, honestly, chat, you know what it is, though? I'm so happy to see how the opinion of Pepe has changed over the years. Because I remember at one point, Pepe was killed by meme football, by, troll football. He's one, like, there's going to be other guys on here who have been killed by troll football, and I'm very passionate about a certain player here. But Pepe was one of those guys that never got his credit because all Pepe does is just hurt people, and all he does is get red cards. Yes, Pepe had a very aggressive streak to him. And at one point, look, he let it get to him. It was overtaking his game. But guys, Pepe was a brilliant player. At one point, you know what's so funny to me right here, chat? And this is not revisionism. This is what I thought when I was watching the two of them. You take Ramos and Pepe when they were together at Real Madrid, when they were starting, let's say from 2008, 2009 to like 2013, 2014. Me personally, chat, I never really thought there was that much in between the two of them. In my opinion, I always viewed it as yin and yang. Like, they were, for me, similar level. But now, you talk about Ramos and Pepe, and Ramos is considered, like, light years above Pepe. And I get it. Ramos was... He won major stuff with Spain. He has bigger moments than Pepe. He stayed at Real Madrid a whole lot longer. He was the captain. He was the more animated one. But I'm sorry, I never really thought there was that much in between them. It's similar to how I was saying the other day. I never really thought there was that much between David Silva and Kevin De Bruyne when they were playing together. I feel the same way about Pepe and Ramos. And I actually think he left Real Madrid way too early, and I get it. Varane came in and like took his chain basically. But you look at what Pepe did post Real Madrid and what he was continuing to do as late as last season. Chad, Pepe could have gone to a Man United. Pepe could have gone to a Man City. He could have gone to a Juventus. He could have gone to a Bayern Munich and had like 5-6 more years at the top. Maybe he just wanted a new challenge and he went to Turkey and then he went back to Porto. But he could have definitely played for another super elite European team. And I think the last few years of Porto and Portugal have shown that. You look at the last few tournaments for Portugal, chat. He's 38, 39, 40 years old. And he's outperforming Ruben Diaz, who's supposed to be at the peak of his powers. Pepe, at the end of his career, was Portugal's best defender. Pepe is a legend of the game for me, man. He's a legend of the game. And I thought Euro 2016, he was the best center back at the tournament. Next up, okay, this is where we're getting controversial. This is where we're going to get real controversial, and I can already see my YouTube chat. I can already see it. But this is my list. This is my list. I can't go wrong. Boo me. Boo again. Boo again. Pique is so disrespected, it actually makes me sick. It actually makes me like want to throw up watching the way people talk about Pique these days. You know, I was talking about Pepe. Troll football killed Pepe's reputation. Troll football demolished Gerard Pique. It killed the way people look at Gerard Pique. Gerard Pique is an all-timer center back. And yes, there are 5 spots available in Table 1. He's one of those 5 spots. Guys, we talk about Barcelona as the greatest club of the modern era, and yet none of their defenders ever get the respect they deserve. Let me tell you guys what Pique was dealing with. Pique was dealing with Dani Alves on the right, who, let's be honest, was an attack-minded fullback. He was dealing with, for the most part, a physically lightweight Barcelona midfield. They were brilliant. That's the best midfield 3 I ever saw. But it's not like you had like Makalele in there. And yes, Busquets was very underrated defensively. But Barcelona consistently had the best defensive record in the league. Every year, it's Barca who has a better defensive record than Real Madrid. Why do you think that's the case? Who do you think was holding down the fort in the middle of that center back partnership? Who do you think it was? From 2008-09 to 2019-20. Who do you think was holding down the fort? Who? Whether it was Puyol next to him, whether it was Mascherano next to him, whether it was Umtiti next to him, damn it, whether it was Jeremy Mathieu next to him. Who do you think was the constant guy in that partnership? It was Pique. You know how I said Nesta is the best ball reading center back I've seen? Pique is maybe in the top 3. There, I said it. In terms of reading the game defensively, Gerard Pique is one of the best I've seen. Guys are saying that's why they had the worst Champions League collapses. Do you think it's Pique's fault that they were collapsing the Champions League? Brother, he was holding down the fort, man. He was holding down the fort. 2018-19, Van Dijk was the best center back in the world. This guy was second. Gerard Pique was second. Gerard Pique in 2018-19 was unreal. He was unreal, man. He didn't hold it down well enough. Are you guys insane? Listen to what you guys are saying. You guys are saying Gerard Pique didn't hold it down well enough. Let me read you what Gerard Pique won as a starter. 3 Champions League titles, 2 trebles, a World Cup, a Euro, and numerous league titles. And you guys are telling me he didn't hold it down well enough. If that's not holding it down well enough, damn it, who held it down well enough then? Who? Go ahead, I'm waiting. Who's behind Messi? Is Messi defending? Is Messi clearing the ball off the line? Is Messi organizing the back four? Is Messi building up from the back? Messi's not the whole team, man. They have to have defenders. Come on, bro. Gerard Pique, I don't care, man. For me, he's the most underrated center back of the 21st century. That guy was so good, man. In the air, ball playing. Oh my God, chat, come on. Ball playing center backs. How many guys are better than him on this list? Reading of the game. Gerard Pique is a brilliant center back, man. For me, he's table 1. In my opinion, there's not even a doubt about it that he's table 1. There's genuinely, there is not a doubt in my mind that he's table 1. And watch, I got an even hotter take. You guys think this is bad? I got an even hotter take. How about that? How about that? Gerard Pique is table 1 for me. That's not even the hottest take I got today. Puyol was not better than Gerard Pique. Let me tell you guys that right now. That's not my hot take, by the way. But Puyol was not better than Gerard Pique. He wasn't. Puyol is another guy, in my opinion, that has now become very, very underrated. He's becoming disrespected now. Because yes, Puyol had howlers in his game. But you have to understand the way defending was back then. Chet, you're not defending as much as a unit as you are today. Now defending is much more, in my opinion, systematic than it was 10, 15 years ago. So defenders back then, you don't have a ball playing, sweeping center back behind, sweeping goalkeeper behind you that's rushing off his line. You don't have a number 6 set right in front of you. Typically, you're playing with 2 midfielders in front of you. And you're defending in way more open space. And guys, I hate to tell you, but a center back's worst nightmare is being dragged out wide and defending in open space. 99% of center backs ever get dragged outside into open space and get ripped apart. Because that's the name of the game. Attackers are supposed to humiliate defenders. The point of defending and how it's gotten so much better in the last few years is coaches are now trying to figure out how can we limit areas in which center backs can be exposed. That's the reality. Puyol now has become a meme in some people's eyes, but Puyol was a brilliant center back, Chad. He was a brilliant center back. He was not table 1. I'm going to put Puyol. I'm going to put him here. I'm going to put Puyol table 2 right here. Subject to change. He's going to table 2. And look, table 2 is already getting filled up, so people are going to have to move down. But I'm going to put him at table 2. Guys, for me, disrespect Puyol. In my opinion, he was not better than Pique. I think Pique was an improvement on him. But people act like Puyol. Come on, bro. You can't be at Barcelona that long as the center back, as the captain, by being a schmuck. It's impossible. Raul Albiol. I'll be real. Big respect. Big respect. I'm not sure what you're doing on this list. Big respect to Raul Albiol. Robert Ayala. Now, a lot of you guys probably don't know Ayala. He probably was before a bit of your guys' time. In fact, he retired from Argentina in 2007. Ayala was a very, very good center back. I got Ayala just below Mascherano. He was the captain of Argentina for the longest. I don't know if he's still Argentina's top appearance maker. I think Messi probably has surpassed him. But this is a guy that won 2 La Liga titles with Valencia, went to the Champions League final with them, was the heart and soul of that Argentinian defense for the longest, was the captain of Argentina for the longest. Very, very good center back. I think Ayala here is a good ranking for him. I think I got him at table 4. Ruben Diaz. Diaz is a weird one, right? Because since he's come to Manchester City, he has never not won the league title. I actually think 2022-23 might have been his best season. Even though he was really good in the year he came in and started partnering John Stones. I think he's better than everybody in table 5. I think he's better than Koulibaly. I think he's better than Ayala. I'm going to put him here. I got Diaz right in the middle of table 4. I don't think he's a perfect center back. I do think sometimes Ruben Diaz, he does, in my opinion, he does get overrated sometimes. Whenever people talk about the best center back in the league or the best center, I don't think Diaz has ever been better than Van Dijk, for example, a day in his life. So, and is he even the best center back at Manchester City when everyone's fit? That's another subject altogether. In fact, we got somebody coming up. I think he's a very good center back, but I don't think he's the best center back I've ever seen in my life. And like I said, I've actually thought Pepe has been better than him, even while Pepe is coming towards the end of his career. Sergio Ramos. Chat. Not table 2, don't worry. I got Ramos below Pique. I got Ramos below Pique. That's my hot take. I got Ramos below Pique. Me personally, I think Pique was the better defender. I do. Look, Ramos was brilliant. But I also think Ramos, bro, has crazy aura attacks. And also the fact that he has big moments in his game. But when I'm ranking off how good defenders are at defending, I do think at times, like Ramos, like, yes, he's an incredible defender. I'm not trying to say he's a bum. He's a great defender. But chat, Ramos, if you want to talk about who had more errors in their game, I feel like Pique's errors get highlighted more. But who had more errors in their game defensively? Boy, Ramos had some howlers, bro. Ramos had some howlers. Me personally, when I watched Pique and Ramos, it's again similar to when I watched Ramos and Pepe. I never thought in my life that Ramos was clear of Pique. I thought they were similar level. I do. And then when I look at who had the better defensive record in La Liga all those years between Barcelona and Real Madrid, it's consistently Barcelona by like 15, 20 goals. Ramos got a crazy Champions League resume. Crazy. But I got Pique above him, man. That's my hot take. The one thing you could say is that Ramos had to defend both the central and left zones because Marcelo and Ronaldo didn't defend. That's true, but it's not like Pique didn't have Alba on one side and Dani Alves on the other too. Let's not lie. I got Ramos below Pique. I don't think it's disrespect, personally. I think, honestly, the fact that Ramos has now been seen as clear of Pique when at their best, when they were playing together for Spain, I never thought one was clear of the other. In fact, in 2010, Ramos was playing right back while Pique was in the center with Puyol. The way I see it, I got Pique over Ramos, man. Not by much. I think it's close. And again, like I said, if you think Ramos is better, I don't think it's a hot take. I don't think either of them are close to the two Italian guys. I'll tell you that right now for free. But I'm sorry, like this idea now that Ramos was clear of Pique, I don't think it lines up with reality. I don't think so. Rudiger for me goes, he's in table 3, Rudiger. Now it's just a question of where does he go? I think I got Rudiger right here. I think Rudiger's last few years has put him above Campbell. What he's done for Real Madrid, what he did in that last year for Chelsea, I think that's put him above Sol Campbell for me, personally. Walter Samuel. Big fan of Walter Samuel. Warrior. I remember the Inter commentator, they used to call him Wally. I got Walter Samuel. I got him right here. Just above Koulibaly. You guys saying 6? Oh, hell no. Oh, hell no. Hell no is Walter Samuel table 6. Hell no. Not Waleed. Wally. Thiago Silva. I got Thiago Silva. 1 second. I got him right here. And like I said, I actually think Thiago Silva, I only really clocked, and this is kind of going to sound casual for me, but I only really clocked how good Thiago Silva, like how I knew he was always good, but it really hit me how good Thiago Silva was when he came to the Premier League at 39 years old and made a mockery out of it. That's really when I clocked, like, yo, Thiago Silva, like before he joined Chelsea, I maybe had him like around these guys, and he was better at PSG than he was at Chelsea. But when he actually came to Chelsea is when I realized, yo, this guy's an all-timer, bro. He's unreal, because he didn't even have his pace at that point anymore. He was relying purely on how well he read the game, and he was unreal, man. Unreal. Thiago Silva is incredible. And I'm telling you, once I realized how good he was, it's when he left PSG and Marquinhos got exposed. What he did at Milan as well, too. Thiago Silva at Milan, don't sniff at that either. Yeah, Thiago Silva is a legend of the game, man. Legend. Big fan of Thiago Silva. And maybe if he had left PSG, or maybe it's because he played for PSG that I'm underrating him as well, too. Maybe if he had played in England or for Barca, Real for longer, I would recognize him as better. Because Thiago Silva was a sensational defender, man. Sensational. I don't think the Premier League saved his rep. I think it boosted his rep because we got to see him more. But I think Thiago Silva was always a brilliant center back, in my opinion. Next up, Jaap Stam. Now, Jaap Stam is before me. I have to be real here. But from everything I've heard about Jaap Stam, he's arguably the most talented center back to play for Man United in the last 25, 30 years. He arguably is the most talented. Now, he didn't spend that long at Man United, but when he did, he won a treble in like 5 years. Jaap Stam was unbelievable. He went to Lazio, did bits there, went to Milan, did bits there as well too. So I got Jaap Stam at table 2 for sure. And I got Jaap Stam. We're going to put Jaap Stam right here. We're going to put Jaap Stam just below Puyol. It's subject to change, but we got him right here for now. And look, table 2 is now getting way too congested. So guys are going to be moving down very, very soon. Next up, John Stones. Can I give you guys a hot take as well too? I don't know if it's a hot take, but this is my opinion. I think John Stones is better than Ruben Diaz. Yes, John Stones is extremely injury prone, and Ruben Diaz is more of a defender's defender. But me personally, I think John Stones is the better player. I think John Stones, by the way, right? John Stones, okay, here's my take. John Stones is England's answer to Gerard Pique. He is England's answer to Gerard Pique. He's not as good as Gerard Pique, but he's England's version of Gerard Pique. What do I mean by that? John Stones is not like a loud defender. He's not a defender that makes like bone-crunching tackles. He's not a defender that like puts his body on the line, and his partners are typically more aggressive than he is, like Ruben Diaz or Harry Maguire. And oftentimes, those guys get more plaudits because they have bigger moments, they're more in your face, they make that loud tackle. But if you notice with John Stones, he improves every single center back partnership he plays with. He's always in every center back partnership when he's fit. And for me, he improves every center back he plays with. Whether it's Maguire, whether it's Guehi over the summer, whether it's Ruben Diaz, whether it was Laporte, whether it was Company. I just think he's extremely underappreciated. Are there better center backs? Yes, that's why I have him at table 4. But I think John Stones is a really, really good player, man. I do. I really do. I prefer him personally to Ruben Diaz. The problem with John Stones is his injuries, honestly. But very, very good center back. Next up, Toby Alderweireld. I like Toby Alderweireld a lot. I have him. He's in table 5, but it's really a question of where. I think Otamendi, what he's done for his country is too peak. I think Alderweireld is the better center back. Like, I think he's a better player. But I think what Otamendi has achieved puts him above him. Yeah, I got Alderweireld there. Alderweireld was a really good center back, man. Honestly, Alderweireld was very good. And you know what I really liked about Alderweireld? Again, that long diagonal ping. I think Alderweireld was amongst the best I've seen, to be honest with you. At that diagonal ping from one side of the pitch to the other, I think Alderweireld had a nasty, nasty ping on him, man. And he was a very, very good center back. In my opinion, I think he was the better center back between himself and Vertonghen. I personally preferred him. I don't know how Spurs fans feel about that or how you guys feel about that, but I preferred Alderweireld to Vertonghen, personally. John Terry. Oof. Let me say this real quick. All personal things aside, if we're just purely looking at it on each player's game, I think John Terry was better than Rio. I think it's a bit revisionist history to say now that Rio was better than Terry. I don't agree. Terry, for me, was the better center back between him and Rio Ferdinand. And I think Terry hit the higher peak than Rio. I think Terry was the better out-and-out center back. And I think Terry as well, too, was incredibly underrated on the ball. I think Terry has the greatest legacy in Premier League history as a center back. It's really tough here because there's only one place left on table 1. Let me just say this. I think John Terry is better than everybody on table 2. For me, the question with Terry is between himself and Van Dijk. Guys, you're saying I genuinely believe Pique is table 1. This is not like an arguable thing. I think Pique is a table 1 defender. So he's going in my table 1. If you don't agree, that's on you, but this is my list. Me personally, I think it's between Terry and Van Dijk for the last spot on table 1. Now, yeah, you see, I hear it. You know what? I actually hear it. I think table 1, this is where we're going to bend the rules a little. Because I think Terry and Van Dijk are both table 1 defenders. I don't think it's right for me to demote one just because, like Van Dijk deserves to be there. Van Dijk, for me, in terms of complete level of center back, it's only like Nesta for me that I think is at that level. But Terry, what he's accomplished in the game, and also Terry was a damn good center back at his absolute best. Let's not act like Terry is just achievements and stuff like that. I don't think it's right for either of them to be there. So I am going to say 7th through 14th and 1st through 6th because I think both of them deserve to be there, man. Like Terry, for me now, I think personally, chat, in the Premier League, players that have suffered the most in their reputation and their legacy, John Terry is amongst the most. And yes, I understand he's got controversies on his name, like what he's been accused of. Absolutely disgraceful. I'm not condoning any of that, obviously. I don't think I even need to explain myself there. But if we actually just look at John Terry's game, the guy was an absolute freak, man. John Terry was brilliant. I think between Maldini's time and then like Pique and Puyol and Pique, excuse me, and like for me, Terry was better than Puyol. Terry was better than Puyol. I think Terry was better than Cannavaro. I think Terry was better than Rio. I think Terry was better than all of these guys. But the way people talk about them now in terms of, because now people also like to see these like tall, athletic center backs. Terry somehow gets hit with a stick. But Terry was athletic. Terry could play ball. Terry could pass the ball. Terry could leap in the air. Yes, he wasn't the quickest, but the way he read the game, he didn't often have to be. Terry very rarely got caught out in like 1v1 battles or having to race with people. So yes, he wasn't the fastest, but I don't really think he ever got exposed for it too much. So I got John Terry in my table 1. I think I do. Honestly, it doesn't make me sad because I don't like glorifying guys who, like, these guys are footballers. At the end of the day, what they do in their personal life is more important as a human being than how good they are at the sport. But if we're just talking about footballers here, Terry is unquestionable, man. Kolo Toure, I'm going to put right here. Already, yeah, I agree. I think I put Cordoba too low, but it's subject to change. Kolo Toure, I got here. Part of the Invincibles. Very, very good player for Arsenal. Won AFCON of Ivory Coast as well. I think he won AFCON of Ivory Coast. I think so. Thuram, I have him for fullbacks. I got Kolo Toure right here. Van Dijk. Undoubtedly table 1 for me. I think one more league title. If Van Dijk wins the league title this year, I think he moves up to here. Like, if Van Dijk wins the league title this year, I think he goes here. Van Dijk's peak is stupid, man. It's stupid. However, I think John Terry actually won Premier League Player of the Year, didn't he? I think John Terry has a PFA Player of the Season. Did he win it? Yeah, John Terry. Okay, he won Player of the Year in 2005, UEFA Club Defender of the Year in 05, 08, and 09. 5th Pro World 11 5 years in a row between 05 and 09. Yeah, John Terry, honestly, I think he's here for now. I think VVD is just below him. I think VVD is a better player than John Terry. But when I make these lists, chat, I do try and take everything into account. And I think VVD is one league title away from me putting him above John Terry. I do think that's the case because I think individual level he's there, but I think you have to also respect winning. And I understand VVD has come up against City. He's coming up against some great teams in the Champions League. But for now, I don't think that's too harsh to say. And look, VVD still has years to go as well, too. That's another thing. VVD is not slowing down whatsoever. But one thing about John Terry, guys, John Terry won the league in 14-15, playing every single minute at 36 or something like that? 35? I don't think this is too bad. I think I like this. I know Pique is the one that people are not going to like. But me personally, I have Pique in third. I think Pique was unbelievable. Varane. Where do I have Varane? Varane is a weird one, man. Varane is incredibly difficult to rank here. I think he's 3, chat. I don't think he is table 2. I think he's... Okay, I think I know where I put him. I think I put him here. I think I do. Varane is really, really good. But I think I have him low 2, high 3. I don't think his time at United matters. I think you have to take into account what he did at Real Madrid and what he did for the French national team. But I always felt like Varane, for me, at times, the perception, I think people underrate him massively. But at the same time, if I'm being honest, chat, I never really thought Varane was the best center back in the world. Although, what was it? Was it 1920 or 8? Yeah, I think it was 1920. He was very, very good, Varane. Very, very good. 2021 as well. Very, very good. World Cup 2018. Very, very good. But I just never thought he was the best center back in the world, or to be honest, anywhere really close, to be honest with you. But I think you have to respect his resume. You have to respect his longevity, the trophies that he won, the great teams he was a part of, and you have to be a part of them, right? No one gets carried in great teams. Let's call it what it is. So I got him below Carvalho, below these guys, I think, in my opinion. Vertonghen, I'm going to put above Materazzi, and then Vidic. I love Nemanja Vidic. When I talk again about favorite 5 center backs, Vidic is in my favorite 5. I personally actually preferred him to Rio, even though I think Rio had the better career. Rio arguably reached the higher peak, but I think Vidic, from when I started really taking Man United seriously, like watching them consistently, I thought Vidic was the better player when I was watching them. And again, Vidic for me is somebody that I believe is massively disrespected to new fans. I think people talk about Vidic now like he was a scrub. Vidic was unreal at his best. And yes, he had howlers. But I'm telling you, chat, center backs are expected to be put on the ground. Like the likes of Van Dijk, Maldini, Nesta, those guys are anomalies. Honestly, like that's the reality. Center backs are not supposed to be faultless. They're not supposed to be flawless. The name of the game is attackers are supposed to humiliate defenders. So when it happens, it shouldn't be a real shock. But one thing about Vidic is I think at his best, the guy was a freight train, honestly. Like no one wanted to come up against Vidic when he was at his absolute best. Because he wasn't afraid to put his head where others were afraid to put their foot. He wasn't afraid to slide into challenges where he'd end up getting hurt. He would literally protect his goal of his life. In the air, there's very few center backs that I've seen that are better than him. And he was a leader as well too, man. I love Nemanja Vidic so much, man. I really, really love him. For me, he's table 2. My personal bias is putting him above Puyol. And yes, we are subject to change. Like I said at the beginning, chat, if you guys are typing in my chat or in my comment section on YouTube, how is this guy? Please, the video is not over. This is where now we get into changing. However, table 1, I don't care what anybody tells me. Again, it's my list. I am happy with my order. Table 2, I like Cannavaro at first in table 2. I like Rio at second. I like Thiago Silva at third. I like Vidic at fourth. Now with Puyol, I'm going to move Puyol here. Yeah, I'm going to move Puyol here. I like Godin here. I like Chiellini. Oof, is Pepe better than Chiellini? No, I'm going to keep Chiellini here. I'm going to keep Pepe here. I'm going to keep Lucio here. I'm going to keep Carvalho here. I'm going to keep... Oh, okay, so now we have to move. So 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. We're going to change this to 15. So everybody here now moves down. Lucio, Carvalho, Varane. So, okay, so now this is 16. I like Lucio here. I like Carvalho here. I like Varane here. I like Hummels here. I like Bonucci here. I like Boateng here. So 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. Did I put Rudiger too high? I might have put Rudiger a little too high. Because Rudiger has had a really good, last 4 years, 3 years. Lucio cannot be tier 3. Should he be higher or lower? That whole seminar and you just gave him a deducted tier. I know it hurts. It actually does hurt a lot. Yeah, I might have done Lucio dirty, actually. No, I leave it like that. I have to be fair. I think this is a fair list, man. Rudiger at Roma was great, but bro, Rudiger, if he had ended his career at Roma, let's be real. That's not what's setting Rudiger apart. His last year at Chelsea and what he's done at Real Madrid. That's what we're taking Rudiger for. And really, it's only how long has it been at Real Madrid? Because his first year, he wasn't a starter like that every single game. So maybe I'm putting Rudiger a little too high. That is a possibility. For that reason, I'm going to move him down here. And realistically, is he table 3? No, I don't think Rudiger is table 3, chat. I'll be very, very real here. I can't say Rudiger and Lucio are on the same table, man. That's impossible. Rudiger cannot be table 3. You think he's table 3? Rudiger had an amazing season last year. For Chelsea, he was amazing too. But if I'm being honest, I don't think he's table 3. Let's put him here. Because I don't, like, is Rudiger clear of any of these guys? I think he's these guys' level, in my opinion. Because here's the thing, right? All of these guys, in my opinion, chat, all the guys in table 3 are much closer to the guys in table 2 than they are in table 4. That's the reality. The guys in table 3 are much closer to table 2 than they are to table 4. High key, I'm tempted to put like half these guys in table 2 and just make table 2 super big and table 4 super big. Or basically make table 4 table 3. That's low-key what I'm tempted to do, chat. Madrid agenda. It low-key looks like that, I can't lie. But I'll be real, I never really rated Madrid that much for their defensive game. Like, for me, I rate their midfielders extremely highly and their attackers extremely highly. But defensively, I never really thought that was the best part of Real Madrid. Maybe I'm wrong there, but yeah, Varane is a tier above Rudiger. Come on, for sure. Look at the career Varane had compared to the career Rudiger had. This is what I'm going to do. This is what I'm going to do. There you go. Now I like this list. I think I like this list now. Table 2, table 3, table 4. That's what I'm doing. Rudiger, Marquez. Yeah, now I can move Rudiger a little. I think Marquez, I'm putting him above. Yeah, I'm going to put Marquez here, Rudiger, Company, Barzagli, John Stones, Diaz, Master. Yeah, okay, I'm happy with this now. So this is 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23rd, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32. Okay, and I'm happy with this. 33, 34, I'm going to move David Luiz here. I'm going to move Cordoba here. 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46. I think I'm happy with this. Now, chat, I already know what you guys are saying. Pique is upsetting you guys. I hear it. Pique is he's upsetting you guys. What else on this list do you think you guys would change? Thiago Silva too low. I think Thiago Silva's rating is pretty good. No, I'm saying serious. You would say Silva over Rio. I think Silva and Rio are similar. I think they're similar level. So I wouldn't be mad at that. Ledley King and Walter Samuel both insanely underrated. I think Ledley King, the reason I put him that low, Nico, is just because of, I mean, bro, I know he was playing at Spurs, but also the injuries as well too. Like, yes, talent-wise, he's higher than table 6, but if you don't really get to show it that much, it's tough for me to put you much higher than table 6. Yeah, Pique I know is going to be the one that pisses people off, but that's my opinion. Stam over Vidic and Rio. A lot of United fans would agree with you, to be fair. A lot of United fans would have Stam above Vidic for sure, to be fair. But I'm going to put Stam here. Do you guys think I put Puyol too high? I can hear Puyol being too high, to be fair. Carvalho is better than Pepe. You think so? You think so? I think I put Pepe higher. Chiellini over Godin. Yeah, I already said Chiellini and Godin for me were like these three, Chiellini, Godin, and Pepe. I think you could put them in any order. I think so. Company over Rudiger. Nah, I think I'm happy with Rudiger there. Varane too low. Varane isn't that much higher than Rudiger. So people are saying Varane is too high, and then some people are saying Varane is too low. I think Varane has to be over Rudiger, man. Come on. Varane had a whole career of excellence. Rudiger, the last 3-4 years, has been brilliant. But like I said, one of my criteria is longevity, and Varane wipes the floor of Rudiger in that regard. I think Puyol is really the one for me, chat, that I'm contemplating. Because I think these four, Puyol, Godin, Chiellini, Pepe, for me, I rank them all very similarly. But I'm going to put Puyol here. I'm going to keep it like this. Chat, I think I'm happy with this. So let me go through it one more time. I know, look, I know how YouTube works. I know how comments work. But at the end of the day, I can't be perfect with this list. The one I accept, I know is going to cause mass outrage is Pique at 3. I'm very aware that YouTube is going to, maybe Barca fans will love it. But I know YouTube's going to crucify me. I just think Pique was brilliant. But this is my list. Just to go over it one more time. Nesta, Maldini, Pique, Ramos, Terry, Van Dijk. I got Cannavaro, Rio, Silva, Vidic, Stam, Puyol. Table 3, I got Godin, Chiellini, Pepe, Lucio, Carvalho, Varane, Hummels, Bonucci, Boateng, Campbell. Marquez, Rudiger, Company, Barzagli, Stones, Diaz, Mascherano, Ayala, Samuel, and Koulibaly. I got Cordoba, Laporte, David Luiz, Kolo Touré, Otamendi, Alderweireld, Marquinhos, Vertonghen, Materazzi, and then table 6, Hippia, Dante, Ledley King, Raul Albiol, Jamie Carragher. Honestly, I can accept that there's going to be some stuff that pisses people off. I get it. Ramos and Pique, I told you, it's one of my hottest takes. Honestly, it is one of my hottest takes, or Pique over Ramos. But that's just my opinion. I think for the most part, this isn't a bad list. Let me know what you guys think in the comments if you're watching this on YouTube. And then chat, I hope you guys enjoyed this one, man. Honestly, it's been a while since we did one of these. Should we do fullbacks next? Do you guys want to see fullbacks next? Or dare I say it, do we do a goalkeepers list?